And I see it could affect women a little bit more because of their cycle. And a lot of women, they know like a week before their cycle, they are up in arms regarding headaches or breast tenderness or back pain or mood stuff, or they're just losing a lot of blood, which causes them to be anemic. And then they have low iron and their energy drops. So a lot of times it can compound a lot of those female hormones and make them feel not good for a week. And so a lot of times the first thing we see with women is that PMS starts to go from maybe 7 days to like 1 or 2. And that's a huge thing. Or their irritability or breast tenderness switches a lot, because with women, progesterone is actually a precursor to their stress hormones. So when they start getting stressed, they lose their progesterone and they start becoming estrogen dominant. And then all of those estrogen dominant symptoms, some I just mentioned, start to become activated.
Yeah, the issues with the hormones are more apparent during the cycle.
It's
I would
more
say some.
apparent. So if you're a woman listening to this and your PMS starts getting worse, that's the first thing we look at is what stressors have been activated. You know, women's hormonal rhythms are more intricate. They're like a beautiful symphony that has the wind instruments, the string instruments, the percussion instruments. And when one instrument starts to go off, that symphony turns to noise pretty fast, where men are just kind of like a foghorn or kind of like a one note instrument that's just kind of in the background the whole time. So it's a little bit harder to knock the foghorn off, but the symphony, it's easier to make it sound not so good fast.
Yeah, the women are like, "Oh, he just won me over. He called my hormones a beautiful symphony."
It's
And
a
they're
lot of stuff happening underneath the hood. And it's amazing when you can just get the estrogen dominance under control. And now you're not as anemic. And then now you're able to carry oxygen better, and your mitochondria works better, and your thyroid works better. And then also when your progesterone levels come up a little bit more, now you're able to open those GABA chloride channels. You're not as anxious. You're not as moody. The estrogen dominance drops. So the breast tenderness and the muscle contraction causing the back pain's now gone. It's amazing what happens. And some women, it's sad, some have half their cycle is almost like a PMS kind of up and down wagon. The goal is maybe we have 1 or 2 days, or maybe it's a half a day and it sneaks up on you. That's the ideal goal. And it's a
yeah,
win-win because, the husbands benefit too, and the women are far more productive and they feel better.
absolutely. Yeah.
And
So
also just kind of like comparing, contrasting, what are your options, right? Ladies listening, you know what your options are. It's going to be a birth control pill, and then those have their own side effects. It's going to be an antidepressant, and that's pretty much it. And then if you're menopausal, maybe it's the HRT. Hopefully they don't recommend the Premarin and Provera, which is horse hormones, right? So those are pretty much your 3 options. And then of course, ibuprofen, Midol, those kind of things to manage any pain or cramping. You don't really have that much. So, and none of it's root causal, right? None of it's root causal.
yeah. So I just want to point out that just because something is common doesn't make it normal. So if you
Mhm.
and all your female coworkers or your female friends, you all complain about your periods together and, oh my God, my period's so miserable, my PMS, and my husband better watch out today. It's like, yes, common, but not normal. My wife is a breeze through her cycle. And even in the postpartum period, it was great. And her cycle came back normal and there wasn't anything crazy. And I think it's just because we've tried and put so much work into this years and years and years, you do start to get this point where, hey, the period sneaks up on you and you
That's
had
the
no
goal.
complaints.
We wanted to sneak up on them, or at least get it down to like 1 or 2 minor days versus, major, or even a week or plus of major stuff.
And this is not a pipe dream. This is a reality that we
Mhm.
see all the time clinically, and
Thousands
we've
of
seen it
times, at least
also.
hundreds, for sure.
Yep.